People are dicks, particularly on the internet. While that shouldn't come as any great surprise, occasionally we come across someone whose level of sheer dickery reaches legendary proportions. As we are firmly thrust into 2014, let's take a look at a few such individuals from the previous year. We'll start with a fairly tame entry, and one in which both sides displayed a fair volume of dick-headedness. A few months ago, CCP Games, folks behind the immensely popular MMORPG EVE Online, announced a massive giveaway to celebrate its upcoming EVE Vegas event. It decided to run this event through the gambling website Sommer Blink, a third-party site which runs hundreds of micro-lotteries per day involving ships, items, gear, etc. Now here's where things get a little troublesome. For some reason, EVE Online decided to include 2 gold magnates and 3 guardian vexors among the event's prizes. Apparently those 2 ultra-rare ships were effectively supposed to be a one-of-a-kind relic handed out only to collectors and loyal players. CCP had released both with the promise that no more would ever be created. Naturally, the community immediately went up in arms, shouting about favoritism. These concerns were only exacerbated by the fact that each staff member of Sommer Blink was gifted with a rare ship of their own as well. Some players even went as far as to track down personal information of Sommer Blink's staff so they could threaten them, as though they believed this would stop the event from going forward. At one point in Neverwinter, there was a huge talk of in-game exploit which allowed players to make billions of astral diamonds, an in-game currency that can be used to buy paid currency known as Zen, which can in turn be exchanged for goods and services in Neverwinter's in-game shop. They can also be used to buy items from player-run auction houses, blah blah blah. Anyways, astral diamonds are separate from in-game currency used to purchase items from vendors. I know, it's about as convoluted as it sounds. Perfect World left the exploit for so long that they ultimately ended up having to take the server offline and roll it back for several hours, as the economy was effectively devastated by a small group of players. Now you're probably wondering why this ended up on a list of related to general assholeness. Well, aside from the players who were using the exploit, ruining the game for everyone else, this catastrophe wouldn't have occurred if Perfect World hadn't saddled Neverwinter with so many microtransactions. Boom, dickheads. We've touched on this topic before of other videos and articles on our site, so I'll keep it brief. There was this guy named Sergey Titov. He was the sort of guy even used car salesmen wouldn't invite to parties. They found him too sleazy. A development firm he was previously involved with was responsible for Big Rigs Over-the-Road Racing, one of the worst games ever made. Titov apparently didn't want to mar his perfect track record of being a terrible human being, and so he joined up with Hammerpoint Interactive to create the War Z, kicking off a train wreck of events which ended with Hammerpoint being sent a cease and desist letter from Max Brooks and Valve having to refund thousands of customers because of constant lying, cheating, stretching the truth, broken promises, and everything that bitch ex-girlfriend did to you. Sergey Titov is an ass, but at least he's pretty obvious about it. Somehow the fact that he's pretty terrible at hiding his less admirable traits makes him seem better than this next fellow. For those of you who aren't really in the loop, Zillion OP is a well-known streamer on Twitch who primarily played Diablo III. He was paralyzed from the waist down and confined to a wheelchair. Well, that's what he told everyone anyways. As it turns out, the scumbag wasn't actually disabled. Fans tuning into his stream one night watched a miracle unfold before their eyes as he sprang to his feet while recording. While this happened, a girl he'd been chatting with immediately came spouting about taking her dog to a fish shop of some sort. He made a ham-fisted attempt to save face, but the damage had already been done. Everybody knew what a scumbag he really was. Where is he now? Dunno. Not in a wheelchair though. Our final entry is a hacker group known as DDoS Trolling, and I use the term very generously. As many of you are no doubt aware, December 30th was kind of a bad day for League of Legends, and Dota 2, and Disney, and EA, everyone. The group decided on a whim to target a streamer known as Phantom Lord, gleefully announcing that they would shut down the servers of any game he attempted to play. They made good on those claims, executing DDoS attacks on Riot Games, Valve, and even Disney, bragging about it all the while on their Twitter feed. Phantom Lord, for his part, capitalized on the presence of the script kiddies, informing everyone that they could subscribe to ask him questions. For a while, it was looking like he'd profit from everyone else's misery, that is, until the group found his personal information and swatted his house. Anyone with a small amount of computer knowledge is aware that a DDoS attack is the equivalent of driving a bus into a storefront. Yeah, it's going to cause some damage, and it'll be an inconvenience, but it doesn't really take more than basic operational skills to pull it off. Of course, I get the feeling that Derp doesn't really care about impressing anyone with their computer knowledge, they just want to wreak havoc and watch the world burn, and they're certainly succeeding in doing so. And those are Dickhead Awards for 2013. Who did we miss? Did you find another story even more dickish, and you think we're dicks for missing it? Tell us below. Leave this video a like, and subscribe for more MMO content from MMO Attack. See ya.